A few observations here, brothers and sisters, about the Prophet's interaction with his grandsons. The Prophet is our role model. We learn the following lessons from the Prophet. Number one, love your children. Show them compassion, protect them. Go out of your way to love them. Never neglect them. You think, okay, this is common sense. We live in 2020. Is this relevant? My dear brothers and sisters, today, if you look at the statistics about child abuse and child neglect, it's mind-boggling. I'll share with you some statistics globally and then nationally. Globally, it is estimated that up to 1 billion children, 1 billion, that's 1,000 million, aged 2 to 17 years have experienced physical, sexual, emotional violence or neglect in the past year. And this is in year 2015. Yes.
Does that include being disciplined or no?
Inappropriately. See, sometimes the discipline is light, it's purposeful, it's not abusive. Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about abuse, violence. Yeah, we're talking about serious violence. 1 billion children. In 2015, around 1,670 children died from abuse and neglect in the US. 1,670 kids died. Nearly 700,000 children in the US annually were victims of abuse and neglect. And the youngest children were the most vulnerable to maltreatment. Children in the first year of their life had the highest rates of victimization. An infant of 1 year. And do you even discipline an infant who's 1 year? But there's so much abuse and neglect to infants in the country, it's mind-boggling. So, and usually who are the perpetrators against these kids? 80% is who? Parents. The parents themselves, the very close family members who are supposed to protect these children, they are endangering them. Now imagine if today, in an era where we're supposed to be educated, right? We should have human rights, we're doing this to children. Can you imagine at the time of the Prophet what society looked like? So when the Prophet is treating Imam Hassan and Hussein to this extent, sure, they are imams, they're infallible, but the Prophet is a role model. Oh people, treat your children with love, with kindness, don't neglect them. You suspect they're hungry, rush to them. Alleviate their needs. Play with them. It's only now in the younger generation where it's kind of common for parents to be engaged with their kids and play with them. But honestly, with the older generations, it was not the case. If you go to a lot of societies in some other parts of the world, they literally would consider kids like animals, you know, until they grow up, then we'll take them seriously. They really treat them like animals, giving them sometimes bad names. Sometimes they even call them derogatory words. I'll just give you one example. In some parts of the Middle East, you know what they call kids? Jahal. What does Jahal mean? It's Juhal. What does Juhal mean? Ignorance. You know Atfal, kids? What do you call kids in your language? Yeah, but what's the term that you want to refer to kids? Awlad, atfal, right? Many people, they say Jahal. See, how are you showing respect to your children when you're calling them ignorance? That's very derogatory, even though it's common in that part of the world, but it's really derogatory, yes.
Is Jahal same as Jahal? Or?
Yeah, it's the same. It comes from the same root word. Jahal means ignorant.
Okay.
Juhal means the excessively ignorant ones.
Okay.
The plural and excessive. Because we have jahil means ignorant.
Yes.
Juhala means ignorance, plural. Right? Juhal means very, very ignorant. It's fa'al. Unfortunately.
It sounded familiar. I was trying to make sure.
Yeah, it's the same root word. It's just a different form.
Jahal,
So we find that today there's a lot of neglect towards children. And I shared with you statistics. Globally, 1 billion children suffer from abuse, whether it's physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or neglect. 1 billion children ages 2 to 17. So the Prophet ﷺ is teaching his community, be compassionate with your children. Show them love that's good for their psychological well-being. Many kids are traumatized because of negative experiences that they go through in their family. That's the first point here. Assalamu alaikum. The second point is, it's very healthy for children to spend time with grandparents. It gives them emotional health. In a study that was done in the UK, researchers found that those children who spent more time with their grandparents, they had a decreased risk for having emotional and behavioral issues. And they were far better off in terms of their emotional intelligence. So the more time they spent with their grandparents, the more emotional intelligence they had. And you've seen how, grandchildren can make their kids happy, their grandkids happy. Have you seen that? They have like a magic wand. They smile towards their grandchildren and they just change their whole mood and atmosphere. It's amazing. Sometimes the capacity of a grandparent to make the child happy is more than the parent. And the Prophet is teaching other grandparents in society, be there for your grandchildren. Make sure they're part of your lives. Number 3, grandparents have so much family history that they know about. They have access to family history. They have knowledge. They have life experience. Learn from. The more time you spend with your grandparents, the more you learn about life. Because your grandparents, your grandmother, your grandfather, they went through so many challenges. 70, 80 years of experience. That's freely being given to you. Why keep away from that? But now, do you know how much time the average teenager in the US spends time with grandparents? Can you guess?
I know with parents, 7 minutes conversation.
Per year. How many hours does an average American teenager spend with his or her grandparents a year?
10 hours.
Less.
Madam, different question.
4 hours.
No.
On average, the average American teenager, those of course who have grandparents, we're not looking at those whose grandparents died. They're not part of the statistic, obviously. No. Those who have grandparents, on average, they spend 4 hours a year with them. Compare that to 2,000 hours that teenagers spend watching TV a year. 2,000 hours TV, 4 hours grandparents. Now you know why society is in a disaster? Grandparents have so much to offer you. The Prophet is demonstrating to his community, spend time with your grandchildren. Make it a part of your everyday life. It's healthy for them. It prepares them for life. And it's also good for the emotional health of the grandparents too. Keeps them active. It gives them more of a sense of belonging, because the older you get, the less active you become, the less you feel you belong to your society. Compensate that through your grandchildren. And remember, this is not just for small kids, even teenagers, even if you're an adult. You have a grandparent who's alive, go and spend time with them. I know a lot of brothers and sisters who have grandparents in other countries, overseas, right? My advice to them, once a year, take a month off, go and live with your grandparents. Believe me, that 1 year is more important than your job, than your school, and everything else that you have in life. Because what you will get is invaluable. You can't replace it with your career. You can't get it in your job. You cannot find it in your school. So the Prophet ﷺ beautifully demonstrates to us his amazing relationship with his grandchildren, and that's a lesson for us.